Saturday. Hello and happy Saturday afternoon, you guys. How y'all doing? How y'all doing on this beautiful Saturday afternoon? I don't know how many of you all remember it, but I had to change my days for my life lessons from Wednesdays to Saturdays. So temporarily for the next 5 or 6 weeks, give or take, life lessons will be delivered on Saturdays. So that's what I'm here for. I'm here to learn. I'm here to deliver. I'm here to teach. I'm here to inspire. I'm here to encourage. I'm here to empower. I'm here to do what I believe in my heart God is calling me to do, and that's what I shall do. I got a message prepared for y'all today. I do. I have a life lesson prepared for y'all today. It is Saturday. I know some of y'all just rolling over and probably getting yourself together from last night. I hope you had a beautiful Friday night. I did. I enjoyed some fresh air with some friends and I had a very lovely time last night. But I did not forget the fact that I know that I am obligated to do what I said I was going to do. So I've been reading, I've been studying, I've been researching, I've been writing, I've been learning, I've been praying over these things, and I just want my words to be effective, and I want to be able to help somebody in my teachings and all of these type of things. So if you're ready for any of that, then get in here and get you some of this Saturday afternoon motivation life lesson, because that's what I am here for. But I hope y'all doing all right, man. Saturday. I guess that's something that I have to get used to. I did deliver a motivational message a few Saturdays ago, and sometimes God just prepares you for what He has lying ahead for you. I didn't know that when I delivered my Saturday message a few weeks ago, I didn't know that my Wednesdays were going to be taken away from me, and I was really going to be left with no choice but to deliver life lessons another day of the week, which Saturdays work best for me. So I didn't know that this all was going to play out like this, but I was comfortable with jumping on a few Saturdays ago and just delivering a powerful, maybe 30-40 minute motivational message. So yeah, Saturday is nice. This works for me. It's a pretty much laid back day. You ain't got to get up. You can lay right there in your bed, look at your phone, and get you some Saturday motivation. That is what I am here for. I hope you guys had an amazing week. I hope you guys are taking some of my advice on some of the things that I tell you on a regular basis about prioritizing yourself, putting your mind in a place where it needs to be. I am constantly redirecting my thoughts, constantly raising myself to higher vibrations, constantly reminding myself of who I am in God and who I am, period. Okay? Just who I am, because I refuse to allow myself to be brought down by the words or actions of other people. And so I just constantly encourage myself. I motivate myself. We all go through tough times. We all have to go through pain and hardship and all of those type of things that we are affected by, maybe in our health, and sometimes we are not prepared for those things. But one sure way that you can prepare yourself for anything that comes your way is if you proactively take care of yourself. And one of the best ways you can proactively take care of yourself, if you adjust yourself mentally, put yourself in a good place mentally. That way you can stand firm against the attacks that are coming against your life. You won't feel like the whole world is falling on your head. You are able to fight back and take care of yourself and stand strong and do the things that you have to do for yourself, for your family, for your loved ones, for your finances. You can stay focused. You won't be distracted. I'm telling you, I cannot say enough about the damages that depression does on the human race. I don't care where you're from, what color you are, what part of the world you live in. Depression is real. And there are so many things that we can do for ourselves mentally to prevent ourselves from falling into a state of depression. And I believe that everyone should be doing those things on a regular basis. Come on, we got to snap out of it. We got to get ourselves together mentally and do the things that we have to do to keep a healthy frame of mind. So these are things that I practice on a regular basis. I just practice working on myself, and it works. It really does. These things are very, very effective. So you might feel like, I'm sick of these people getting on my nerves and that ain't nothing but a waste of time and I don't know who they think they talking to, or you steady clapping back and cursing people out and all that type of stuff. Listen, you ain't got to curse nobody out. You ain't got to bend yourself out of shape. You don't have to do any of that. You can shake it off, brush it off, and keep on walking, because they could be talking to themselves. Certain people I just don't associate with no more. You want to snap at me, argue, curse, and all that type of stuff, I'm not letting nobody take me back to the old me. Although I'm proud of who I am today, and I take care of myself on a level where I can deal with my emotions. I practice taking care of my emotions. It's not easy, but it's worth it. I'm redirecting my emotions and putting them in a healthy place where I can deal with anything, with the things that come my way. And I'm telling you, it's always worth every effort that you take to kind of work on yourself and build yourself up in these ways. It is never, ever, 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 ever a waste of time. But happy Saturday, you guys. I am so blessed and so glad to be here. I am glad to be able to be sitting before you guys and just willing and able and thinking about how God is going to use me through delivering this life lesson. I'm not going to leak the topic of today's life lesson just yet. We'll get there, but I promise you, these are words hot from heaven. I'm telling you, I don't even know where half of these messages come from. Sometimes I be like, Lord, I don't know what you gonna do. You lead and I will follow, and he leads and I follow. So this is one of those type of messages I did not have to search for. I did not have to some messages are harder for me to prepare than others, and the ones that are harder for me to prepare sometimes are some of the most powerful messages. And I'll be like, wow, that's why it was so hard to prepare this message. Sometimes, listen, I be ready to give up. I be like, all right, I'm done. I'm not even doing this no more. I don't feel like it. Is late. I'm tired. And God be like, you gonna finish delivering this message, and you gonna get up in the morning, and you gonna deliver this message. And I be like, so, but this message was not very difficult for me to prepare, but I do believe in my heart that this is a very powerful message. This is a message that I believe everybody, all right, I'm going to tell y'all know I can't keep no secrets. I do believe that this is a message that everyone can benefit from. So God placed in my heart self-validation. Self-validation. I'm not going to get into it too much, but I don't want to say a whole lot of things that I know are probably already in my notes and get too far ahead of myself. But God placed in my heart self-validation because God believed that someone needed to hear a message on self-validation, opposed to looking for validation through other sources. It's important for us to learn how to get in the habit of validating ourselves. So I have a whole lot of tips for you guys as far as self-validation is concerned today. I am going to be spitting some knowledge, wisdom, facts, and truth to you guys today about self-validation. This might not be what you want to hear, but listen, even if it's not what you want to hear, it might be what you need to hear. So don't deny yourself a little bit of something that you might need to hear. So I greet you guys with peace and love on this beautiful Saturday. Kings and queens, I greet you with peace. You are welcome to this week's life lesson, and that goes for Lottie, Dottie, and everybody. Come on in here. Get yourself some of of this life lesson. You never know what it might free you from. And I'm telling you, it can be something like this, and it might be one thing that will set you loose, set you free from whatever that is holding us bound, these society norms and all of this type things that we are tying ourselves to and keeping up with the Joneses and everything that is happening on social media and all of those type of things. This message on self-validation might be very freeing for you mentally. So I know that that may not sound very enticing to everyone, but for anything that is going to free me mentally, sign me up. Sign me up. I want some of that. I do. I don't want to be held bound because of the things that are beaten into our brains on the regular basis, and they have all kinds of signs and bells and everything and all these things that's going on, and cell phones and all that stuff to grab our attention and kind of zone us out. And all we know is to we just wrapped up in so many different things that sometimes it's even hard for us to snap back into reality because of everything that is happening in the virtual world. That's why I try not to get wrapped up so much in the virtual world with those cartoon figures and putting your face on somebody else's body and all that type of stuff. I don't have the perfect face, nor do I have the perfect body, but by all means, I am not I don't want my face to be changed to make me look like something virtual and live vicariously through these virtual things. And I know a lot of people are jumping on board with it. I don't even know what these things are called. Listen, if you like it, I love it. I just don't want the avatars and all of these type of things. I believe that these things are pulling us away from reality. They're pulling us away from reality because now I feel like, okay, you can go on here and put your face on someone else's body and all of those type of things, and it looks good externally, but if you want to feel good and if you want to look good, I believe that there are so many things that you can do for yourself internally. Like, you can go on here and push a button, and in 3 seconds you can become somebody else, and it looks beautiful. But you can become who you really want to be, and it can look beautiful if we can take our time out to consider doing the work. Like, just do the work. You can actually feel that beautiful, be that beautiful internally, externally. I really appreciate where God has me at today. And I do a lot of work on myself, and I am not attacking anybody who does those little virtual things online and switch yourself up, but taking time out to do things for yourself internally will literally allow you to feel like the beautiful human being that you that you want to be. I'm talking about in real life. That's why I don't like those things, because they're not real life. You push that button and you look that way and you posted it on social media, but the person that's pushing that button is not the person that you really want to see. What I'm saying is, if you want to transform yourself to be as beautiful as you really want, if you want to experience that, not momentarily and not by just pushing a button, there are things that you can do for yourself to transform yourself into what you really want to be. And it's not hard. You just have to do the work. And it's going to take more than just pushing a button for 3 seconds. You can be as beautiful as you want to be on the inside as well as on the outside. It's all in how you see yourself. That can be you in real life, depending on the work and the time and the effort that you put into yourself, into transforming yourself into the person that you really want to be. So that can become your reality. And I am more of a reality type person than a virtual cartoon avatar and switching your face and switching your body and all that type of stuff. Yes, I want to have a beautiful face. Yes, I want to have a beautiful nobody. Yes, I want to feel good on the inside, but I want those things to be real. I want to feel those things. I want to be proud of myself from the work I do, from doing those things. There's no quick fix in real life. So they have us all wrapped up with these things that are going on virtually and transforming yourself into something that you are really not. And it's becoming a fad. Like, these things are like spreading like wildfire. Everybody is doing it and all of those type of things. But don't forget the fact that that is not you in real life. You want it to be you in real life. I want to be me. I want to show up as me, who I am. When I talk to you on social media, I am a selfie queen. I might use a filter every now and then, but I don't need it. I don't need it. I ain't no filter crazy person. You know, I take care of my body. I put healthy things in my body. I take good care of my skin and all of those type things. And I do not necessarily need a filter. I use filters when they're fun for me, not because I feel like I have to, because I don't appreciate the way that I look, because I appreciate the way that I look very much. And not only externally, I appreciate the things that God does for me internally as well as externally. So stop trying to push the button all the time. So y'all get off that doggone button and be switching yourself around and doing all that crazy kind of stuff to make y'all look like y'all somebody that y'all not, and start doing stuff that's really going to make you feel and be as beautiful as you actually want to be. I don't know where that came from. Listen, somebody might have needed to hear that today, because I just see a whole lot of things going on. But I think that is along the lines of self-validation. See, that's probably why I didn't want to leak my topic, because I probably just said a ton of things that I know is already in my notes, but I'm going to break this life lesson down anyway, because I believe that it is what God wants me to do. So you have entered into a zone of peace, love, wisdom, and blessings. But the only way that you will receive these gifts is if you allow yourself to. So I know that those fruits of the Spirit are not for everybody. A lot of us would rather have materialistic gifts than fruits of the Spirit, things that you can carry along with you that is going to have a beautiful long-term effect on your life for a very long time. But all of those things sound juicy and sweet and good and beautiful, bright and smell lovely. And like, if I just had to imagine a beautiful box of what are the things that I just broke down: peace, love, wisdom, and blessings. If you can package that up for me, and I can open it up and just imagine the beauty that is inside of that gift, I can live there for the rest of my life. So that is the zone that you have entered into. And I don't want to say zone as into making it sound weird or crazy or anything like that. I am not the type of inspirational speaker, motivational speaker that wants you to think like me. I want you to use your own mind to come up with your own philosophy of yourself, for yourself, and learn how to think for yourself. I don't want you to think the way that I think or do what I tell you to do. I am a mere suggestion. If I come to you with any kind of suggestions, or even use my own personal testimony of how things were effective or are effective in my life, that is just what works for me. Everything that works for me may not work for you. I do give you tools and things that may help you along the way. It is absolutely up to you if you are going to utilize these things. But I don't want you to be wrapped up in this ain't no cult or nothing like that. Or I want you to be able to think for yourself. I want you to be able to use your own brain and come up with your own philosophy in life. That is the definition of a truly successful person, is one who knows how to use the power of their own mind. There is so much power in your mind individually, and a lot of times people don't use the power of their own mind. So that's what I encourage you to do through these messages. I encourage you to use the power of your own mind, your own thinking, your own thoughts. Do it in a positive way that it is going to be effective for you in your life. Sometimes the things that we do, me too, as a human being, the decisions that we make can kind of counteract with what we really want for our lives. And we are so busy wrapped up in the things of this world, we are self-destructing at such a rapid pace that we don't even realize how much and how fast we are destroying ourselves. We are wrapped up in a whirlwind of self-destruction, and all you got to do is stop for a minute, say, wait a minute, this don't seem right. Because if it don't seem right, then that means it ain't right. Let me just pause for a minute and kind of figure out what's really happening right here. Because I've been wrapped up in something that is not showing to be very effective in the direction that I want to go in my life. I'm headed in a direction that I don't even want to be going. Come on now. Don't look at me stupid. Don't look at me crazy. Some people are just headed in a direction that they rather not be headed in. And that's the reality of it. And then you can fool yourself. You sitting up there lying to yourself. Lying to yourself is worse than lying to other people. I'm telling you, I would rather lie to somebody else than to lie to myself. If you don't keep it real with nobody, then you best to keep it real with yourself, because you will never live a life that you desire to live if you don't know how to be truthful to yourself. You owe yourself that much to be honest and to be true with yourself about who you are, where you are in life, and where you want to be. You don't even have to reflect on your past too much. All you got to do is look forward to your future. Whatever happened in your past, that's the old you. You done made your mistakes. You ain't got to dwell on it. You ain't got to keep telling the story about it. You ain't got to be mad at nobody. You ain't got to be holding no grudges and unforgiveness and resentment and hate in your heart, and you don't know what they did to me and all this kind of stuff. You don't know what they did to me. I'm telling you, you don't know what they did to me. And you know what? It is what it is. Because it's nothing that I want to do about that. I want to leave it where it is so I can move in the direction that I want to move in. If I am so wrapped up in things that I would rather not be wrapped up in, then that is going to have a direct effect on what my future is going to look like. Even if I find myself being full of hate, I'd be like, nah, Sakira, you're not doing that. You can't hate nobody. There's a lot of haters out here. There's a lot of people walking around with so much hate in their heart for whatever reason. If you feel like it's valid, then whatever floats your boat. But me personally, I can't afford to do the hating. I can't afford to do the hating. It doesn't matter what you did to me. I want too much out of life for me to carry around hatred towards anybody. That's going to hold me down. Hatred will make you sick. It will cause ulcers. It can literally give you cancer. I cannot afford to hate anyone for anything. I might not feel so positively about you for whatever reason. You might not be my favorite person. I'm not going to sit up here and act like all y'all is my favorite person, because some of you ain't. But I don't hate you. I don't hate you. I don't want to. I want to fill my heart with love. I'm still praying for you, no matter who it is. No matter who it is or what you did to me. That does not make me less of a person or belittle me or make me some kind of chump or some kind of... Life is a test. You are being tested to see the strength inside of you. God wants to see if you are a man or if you are a worm. Some of us crawl into the dirt and under the dirt of the circumstances of life because we are not strong enough to face the things that happen to us on a regular basis. I'm not a worm. I refuse to let anyone or anything belittle me beneath anything that I am not worth. When you realize your self-worth, you rise yourself up by all means. And that means if you have to get rid of hate and carry around love for everybody all the time, no matter who they are or what they have done, you should find it within yourself to love anyway. That is going to benefit you. It is going to help you. It is going to grow you. It is going to benefit you more than you realize and more than you know. So listen, this message on self-validation, I promise you is for somebody. I promise you it is for somebody. God placed it in my heart to deliver this message. I actually been working on 2 life lessons. I don't even want to tell y'all the other one that I'm just going to wait until next Saturday. Lord willing, I will meet you guys back mid-Saturday afternoon. This is a perfect time for me to pop on, settle down, sit down, and get into some good old life lessons for the time being. So I got something juicy for y'all next week too. I really do. But let's continue on to move forward. Before we jump into this week's life lesson, into this week's topic, let's boldly harmonize in gratitude. And I ask us to lift up the spirit of gratitude so that we all may be blessed. I do this so often. Even when I go back and listen to my videos, I do it again. I wake up in a state of gratitude. Gratitude is my attitude throughout the day. It has become natural for me. It lifts my spirits. It lifts my vibrations. It helps me. It makes me feel better if I'm down, if I'm sad, if somebody getting on my nerves or whatever. I get into a state of gratitude and I feel better about myself, who I am, where I am, what I'm doing, and everything that is happening around me. Being in a constant state of gratitude helps me. And this is why I think that it is so very important to get into a constant state of gratitude, because I know what it does for me. Now that's universal. That can help everyone, I promise you. I know everything ain't gonna work for everybody, but being in a state of constant gratitude, and I mean constant gratitude, is going to put you where you want and need to be. So we're going to take these few moments. I like to close my eyes and consume myself. I'm talking about just like jump in the pool of gratitude, swim around, feel around. I like to feel it in every part of my body, from the top of my head to tip of my toes, all in my spirit, in my heart, in my mind, everywhere. I like to feel the spirit of gratitude all over me. I'm telling you, it is something that is unmatched. I can't even explain it. That's why when I start talking about it, I just go on and on and on and on and on about it. There is nothing that I can truly say to really explain to you in words what gratitude does for you. I try to explain it the best way that I can, but it just really can't even be explained. I love it. So I want you to do this for yourself. I'm going to do it too. We'll go maybe between 5 or 10 seconds of silent gratitude, and then we will move on to getting into this week's life lesson. So here we go. That does it for me every single time. every single time. It never fails. Every time I allow myself to be consumed in a state of silent gratitude, any kind of gratitude, I'm telling you, you could be having a simple conversation with me and listen. Somebody asked me last night, like, you made it out of that. Everybody asking, what happened? What happened to you? I'm still hopping around on a crutch and just really taking my time and being very patient with my healing after a very severe car accident that I was in a month ago. And I just give God all the glory, and I'm just like, all I can do is point to the sky that I am alive and well and able to sit here and tell people that story. Like, yes, I am grateful that I made it out of that. I have so much to be grateful for. Not only that, but I have just so many things that there is for me to be grateful for too. And I know you do too. If you really think about it, you don't even have to search much. You don't have to search far to find the things that you are blessed with on a regular basis, and to just thank God for the things that you have. I know some people just don't even take the time out to do that. That's why I allow myself to be a constant reminder of the importance of gratitude on the regular basis, because I know it is going to help you. Despite of everything else, gratitude is going to help you. So count your blessings. Stop playing, because you know you're blessed. Cut it out. So self-validation, we're going to get into it. We are going to get into some self-validation today. If you are offended by anything that I say, sorry, not sorry. Listen, I am not here to offend anyone. I want to help you. I do, but it is all in how you choose to perceive these messages. Some people just think everything is a straight out attack on them, and it's not. And I used to be that way. And I allowed myself to be able to take constructive criticism, to allow people to tell me how people view you is important. Now, you don't always have to, that don't have to dictate who you are or how you are, but the way that people view you as a human being, because we have to live in this world together, and you want to make it comfortable for yourself and for the people around you. And if people are not comfortable around you for whatever reason, and everybody trying to tell you, well, you know, if you just loosen up a little bit, then maybe, you know, people want to be around you some more or whatever. So I'm not here to offend anyone. I am not here to attack anyone. I am not here to act like I am so perfect and everyone is not, because that does not exist. Perfect human beings just do not exist. We can all do the same thing, and that is simply work on ourselves to become better tomorrow than we are today. So I am merely just a reminder of probably a whole bunch of things that you probably already know and maybe just need to be reminded of. Let's just think about it that way. Maybe something that you have not heard in a very long time. So yes, we are talking about self-validation today. That is what this week's topic is. Self-validation is understanding and accepting yourself. Boom, bang. Plain and simple. So you know I'm gonna break that thing down into like a gazillion words before I'm done with this message, but just so we can all be on the same page, have the same general idea of what I am talking about today, talking about self-validation. That is not too difficult for us to wrap our minds around. Understanding, number one, and accepting yourself. So when I came across that fact, it said accepting and understanding yourself, and I decided to swap those words around and put understanding first, because I want us to be understanding is important. I want us to be able to understand ourselves. You gotta kind of figure out what the problem is so you can fix it. How you going to try to get down to the nitty gritty of something and you don't even know what the issue is? And a lot of people don't even like to recognize we are not honest with ourselves about what our issues really are. That's why we continue to walk around with some of these same issues for so long, because you're lying to yourself about what's really going on with you. So understanding and accepting who you are, understanding and accepting yourself. Bang, bang, there it is. That is what we're talking about when we are talking about self-validation. That might give you an eerie feeling like, do I understand myself? And do I accept myself? A lot of people are really not even willing to accept the human being that God has created us to be. That's why so many people are out here trying to be something that they're not. Everybody trying to be everything and everybody else, and people are not very accepting of who they are because a lot of people are not even comfortable with themselves. And that is the reality of it. They're not comfortable with themselves. They're not comfortable with their skin. They're not comfortable with their thinking. A lot of people like to put on a mask and put on a show and try to show up for something that they're not, or just try to say a whole bunch of fancy things about them. They don't want to talk about what their issues are, or what their flaws are, or what their weaknesses are. Those are things that make you. Don't be afraid to talk about who you are. If you got issues with something and, sometimes you don't think too straight, sometimes you can think a little more logical, or sometimes you can allow the things that happened to you in your past to kind of have an effect on your future and your relationships or whatever. Like, you don't know what I've been through, and my ex did this, and I don't want to be in no relationship and all this type of stuff. Yes, you do. You just hurt because of what you went through, and you don't have to carry that around just because your ex did something to hurt you. That don't mean everybody is out to hurt you. That is just the reality of it. You think people just wake up in the morning with an agenda to come out and hurt you? No, people got better stuff to do. But if we just so happen to get hurt along the way, it's a part of life. Being hurt and not having a perfect relationship, sometimes the relationship may not work. You might realize you got in a relationship with somebody you didn't really know who that person was, or y'all weren't so as compatible as you thought you guys were when you first got together, or whatever. Sometimes it just don't work. Sometimes it take a long time. We can be in marriages and relationships for years and years and years with a person who is just not meant for you. We can find that we have wasted a whole lot of our time, or this person really did not have your best interest at heart, and all of that stuff. Trust me, I know. I have been there, but that does not mean that there is not love out there waiting for you. You really might come across that person who truly has your best interest at heart, that really cares about you. And then we're walking around with this wall up and constantly protecting yourself from something that happened to you in your past. It happened, it hurt, you got to heal and move on. That's my solution to it. I don't want to carry around with me the things that happened to me in my past. And that is as far as anything is concerned. I don't care who it is, who hurt me. I have been hurt a lot from different multiple people, business, family, relationship, religion, all of that type of stuff had a major effect on me. And I still don't want to carry around the hurt of the things that happened to me. I want to be free from all of those things. And I want to trust and believe in my heart that whatever lies ahead in life for me, I will walk into my destiny, what is truly meant for me. There is love out here waiting for you, but some of us choose not to believe so. But accepting yourself, accepting your flaws, accepting your hurts, accepting your pain, whatever you had to go through, this is what we're talking about today. That is what self-validation looks like, when you are able to understand yourself, accept yourself, validate yourself, or whatever, lift up yourself. So come on, let's talk about it. But I do have a question for you guys. Question: what would your life look like if you fully embraced and celebrated your own worth without seeking validation from others? Yeah, what would your life look like? What would your life look like if you fully embraced and celebrated your own worth without seeking validation from others? Wow. Would you be I'm not going to flat out answer that question. Would you be more comfortable with who you are? Would you be more comfortable with expressing yourself? Would you be more comfortable with entering a room, entering a conversation, entering a relationship, entering a new business proposition, expressing yourself, body, mind, spirit, however you are, the way that you look, who you are, the way that you speak, whatever. Like, what would that look like for you if you were able to realize your own self-worth, and not only realize it, but celebrate it? Celebrate yourself without seeking the validation of others. Wow, that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. And I'm not going to say everybody has an issue with doing those things, but I know a lot of people do. A lot of people have issues with being able to celebrate themselves fully. It says fully. I came across this question and I put it in my notes. Fully embracing and celebrating your own worth without seeking validation from others. What would that look like for you in your life? What would that look like for me? What would that look like for me? I kind of, nah. I was going to say sometimes I might hold back a little bit because I'm a lot. I just am. I'm a lot. I'm a whole cup of everything, just sparkly and glittery and bursting and just fireworks. And like, I am just a lot. And sometimes I be like, all right, maybe they don't need all these fireworks right now today. So, and I know I'm a lot, and I hold it. Sometimes I kind of dim it down a little bit because I don't be feeling like y'all be needing all these fireworks all the time. But I know I'm a lot. I'm a whole lot. And I love that, and I accept it about myself. But so yeah, if we were able to fully be able to celebrate our own. I love the energy that I bring. I love the energy that I bring when I step into a room, when I have conversations with people, and sometimes when I open my mouth, it may not be what someone expects and all of that type of stuff. And I always feel so fully accepted for my authenticity. And I love that. And I'm just saying that because what would that look like for you? Like, what would that look like for you if you were able to celebrate your own worth and fully embrace who you are? So I'm going to move on past that because I can just go on with that question forever. But I want you to think about that. Just think about that a little bit. But I'm going to tell you something. After I ask you that question, I want to follow it up with this statement. You have the power to validate yourself. Yeah. Newsflash. A lot of people didn't know that. So I'm here to remind you today that you have the power to validate yourself. You can take that information and do with it what you please. But if no one ever told you that before, I am telling you now, you have the power to validate yourself. So we all seek validation from time to time, but when we solely depend on validation and don't receive it, that could leave us feeling empty. I am not exempt from that. We all seek validation. We all seek external validation from some people time to time, but when we solely depend on the validation of other people, then that's not going to help us. So even during our moments of seeking validation, we should practice and get in the habit of, if I don't get that validation, then I am going to celebrate my own worth. I'm going to validate myself, because you don't want to be left with that empty feeling, because when you are left with that empty feeling, it's going to be a rat race, so to speak. You will constantly be out here chasing after like the hamster on the wheel, just running around and around and around and around, chasing an empty feeling. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to continue to try to chase external validation, because you are not able to validate yourself. And that is what a lot of people look like. A lot of people look like that hamster on the wheel, just running, running, running. You tired. You don't feel like it. You done enough. You done enough for everybody. You done all you can do. You done did it till you passed out. You are exhausted. You are mentally exhausted. You are physically exhausted. And you still running around on that validation wheel, because you seeking validation from other people, because you are not taking the necessary time out to validate yourself. Stop. Jump off the wheel. Just get off of it. Get off that wheel, take a couple deep breaths, turn away from validation and turn towards self-validation. Give yourself a break. Give yourself a break from seeking validation from others. I'm going to tell you something else that you probably don't know. You don't need it. You don't need validation from others to fully move on and be fulfilled with the life that you are leading and creating and molding and building in the foundation of health and wealth and mental health and things that you do for your children and your family and your finances and your spirit and your soul and your physical health and all of that stuff and other people and all. You don't need validation from other people for you to move on with the life that you are leading. It ain't gonna make you never mind. It's just gonna be their validation. You don't need it. You don't need that validation from others. Really, all you need is the validation. All you need is self-validation. Come on, we're gonna talk about it. We're going to talk about it. You don't need that external validation. All you need is the validation that you have within yourself. That is going to give you the strength that you need to move on. That validation from other people is not going to give you the power, the energy, the momentum, the strength. It's not going to give you that. You're just going to make somebody else feel like their opinions is so valid. And we put too much emphasis on being validated by other people and their opinions and what somebody else going to think about you and making somebody else proud and that pat on the back from your boss and all that stuff. Listen, I go to work and I know I do a good job. And I continue to do a good job because I just do a good job. That is who I am. And I will continue to do a good job whether I get pat on the back or not. I'm a hard worker and I put everything into everything that I do. And I love the things that I do. And nobody has to tell me that for me to want to do them wholeheartedly, to putting everything into what I'm doing. When I'm at work, I'm like, you did a good job today, girl. I go to the bathroom, look at myself. I be like, girl, you did that. And I do. I validate myself. Even when I find 1,000,001 excuses not to put everything that I have into everything that I'm doing. The person before me could have did a better job. Everybody not pulling their weight, doing what they supposed to be doing. Why should I be doing this when it should have been done before I got here? And all of that. I got 1,000,001 reasons why I should kick the bucket, walk across it, and act like I never saw it. But I don't. I do it because it builds my integrity of who I am. It builds my character. I love the fact that I'm a hard worker. It's just what I do. And I not only do that when I get paid for it, I just do that in life, period. I work hard on myself. I work hard on my children. I work hard on my home. I work hard on my relationship with God. I work hard on everything that I do. And I'm proud of myself, and I give myself credit for it. And I get in the habit of validating myself. And at the end of the day, it's not for anyone else. It's for me. It's for me. I'm telling you, I have a ton of experience at 43 years old. I have so much experience and wisdom, and God has not allowed me to experience these things for no reason. This is why everything that I had to go through in life was in preparation for what God really has for me. And I want to be prepared to receive everything that God has for me. So the whole time we are shortchanging ourselves, and we think that we are shortchanging the job and other people, and I want to go to work and not work and still get paid. You ain't shortchanging a job. You shortchanging your life. And you shortchanging yourself, because when you are not putting your all into what you are doing, you are not going to want to put your all into you, into who you are. And that's why so many people walk around and they live a life of lack. You are not full and complete with who you are internally, because the way that you choose to live on the regular basis. And in reality, you are not hurting the job. You are not hurting the people around. You're trying to shortcut and shortchange and all this type of stuff, and just doing things for your own comfortability temporarily. And in all reality, you're shortchanging yourself. You're shortchanging yourself. It is better for us to put everything that we have into everything that we do, and make that your approach to life. That's when you feel good about yourself. We're talking about self-validation. I'm trying to help you. I really am. I'm trying to help you so you can take these approaches and think about how they may look if you alter the way that you have been thinking and doing things lately. I see a lot of suffering. I see a lot of suffering amongst the human race, and it's unnecessary suffering. I see unnecessary suffering, and I would love to see today that so many people are free, not from the things that are going on in society, but free from the things that are happening in your own mind that are constantly holding you down. This is why I speak. This is why I talk to people regularly. So you don't want to depend on validation for others. You want to be able to depend on validation for yourself. You don't want to be left with that empty feeling. So outside validation should not define your beauty. Affirm beauty in yourself daily. Inner beauty as well as outer beauty. You want to be able to tell yourself how good you feel about yourself as a human being. And if you don't appreciate the human being that you have been lately, you might want to think about your actions that make you not so proud of yourself. You want to be able to tell yourself, I'm beautiful inside. I am beautiful outside. I love the human being that I am. I appreciate the kind things that I do for other people. I appreciate who I am. I love myself. You want to affirm these things in yourself, and you can begin to affirm these things right now. And if you have not been making yourself very proud of yourself lately, by affirming these beautiful things within yourself, you can make your ways more positive. You can lead a more positive life. You can have more positive actions so that you can become more proud of the human being that you're going to be. You're going to be better tomorrow than you were yesterday. And I allow that to be a constant reminder to myself on the regular basis, because I want to be better tomorrow than I was better yesterday. I tell myself every single day, I am better. And I am better. I am better today than I was 5 or 10 years ago. I am better from learning from the mistakes that I made just last week. I am better today than I was last week. And I find it in myself. I want to be truthful with myself. I don't want to cover up my mistakes or lie to myself about the mistakes or the things that I should not have had done or whatever. I tell myself, yeah, that was not so smart. Like, you shouldn't have done that. Looking forward, you want to make wiser decisions. That's what makes me a better person. And you can do that in different areas of your life. If you're not very proud of who you have been, that does not mean you can't affirm goodness within yourself and become better and better and better with each growing day. We should be in constant competition with ourselves, not with other people. People think that they're in competition with other people. That's not going to help you to be in competition with me. It's going to help you to be in competition with you. That's what's going to help you. I want to be better than I was yesterday. Compete with yourself. Get better than yourself. Outrun yourself. Do it for yourself. Stop being in competition with other people. That's a waste of time. So affirm that beauty within yourself. Be a constant reminder of how beautiful that you are inside and out. I believe that is going to help you on your journey through self-validation. So people value you for your personality, your heart, your mind, and your soul. And they just do, whether they want to admit it or not. People see you, they love you, they see your personality, they see your heart, your mind, your soul, your inner beauty, your outer beauty, and all of those type of things. That's why people like to talk to you, be around you, and all those things. And we try to validate ourselves through other things. And in our reality, all you have to do is just keep being you. That's really all you have to do, is continue to be authentically who you are, because at the end of the day, whether people say it or not, I'm telling you what people are afraid to tell you. People love you for who you are. So you don't have to waste your time trying to be something that you're not, to seek validation from other people, because people already love you for the human being that you are. You are worth more than your looks. And you are worth more than your looks. Of course, we want to be able to take care of ourselves externally and pretty yourself up, do whatever you feel like you want to do to make yourself look beautiful on the outside, but that is not where the story ends as far as you are concerned. There is so much more to you than simply how you look. That made me dive deeper within myself. I was a very vain person at a point in time. My father hated it. He would curse me out. I was late to school every day. Get out that mirror. Your looks are not going to get you through life, and all those type of things. And even though I didn't listen to him then, I understand now why he said that so much. You're going to need more than just looks to get you through life. I'm telling you, girl, you know that saying, God don't like ugly and he ain't too fond of pretty. People think because they are so beautiful on the outside, some of the most beautiful people that externally has the most ugly personalities, and they think that it is okay for them to be mean and nasty, and you out here slinging around curse words and talking to people in the old kind of way, and you just mean and evil and nasty, and you think you're not going to suffer for your actions and how you are and the way that you treat people and the way that you talk to people. God ain't too fond of pretty either. And my suggestion is humble yourself before you get humbled. I beg God to not to humble me. I don't want to be humbled by God. I don't want to be hurt in order to be humble. I think that we should get in the habit of realizing, stepping outside of our external beauty and realizing that there is so much more to you as a human being than how you look externally. That is not you in a nutshell. You may be beautiful, but if you're not beautiful on the outside, some people are so messed up on the inside that it totally outwashes their outer beauty, and you can be the most attractive person in the world, and if you are not beautiful on the inside, then none of your external beauty matters. It just doesn't. So you are more than your looks. So don't think that that can validate you as well. You thinking that that's it for you to get all this validation, all this external validation is for you to just pretty yourself up on the inside, and they out here getting these boob jobs and these butt jobs and these tummy tucks and all of these type of things. The person that gets respected to me more is the person that works hard on creating a healthy body for themselves. And that can be as far as you putting healthy things in your body, going to the gym, losing some weight, toning yourself up. I respect that more than somebody spending 10, 15, 20, $30,000 on getting these jobs done to yourself. When I know that you have the endurance and the courage and the commitment, that's the type of person that I want on my team. It's easy to jump on a plane to fly somewhere to give somebody all this money to fix you up like a Barbie doll and all of those type of stuff. But are you really the type of person, can you really go somewhere, sit down and go get yourself together without getting all these jobs done? So I mean, I don't judge anyone for whatever decisions they make as far as all of this cosmetic surgery is concerned, but I just can't respect it. I can't respect it because a lot of people who getting these butt jobs can be doing some squats. Some people are here losing their life. You are putting your entire life on the line. I know people that have came extremely close to death and has even died by getting all this cosmetic surgery done. And for what? To seek validation, to seek outside validation from the world, when you can be doing things to build yourself and to work on yourself, and then you go out here and get these jobs done and you still ain't doing the work to your body. You still overeating and not exercising, so all you got is a job done, and it's obvious. Anyway, I'm minding my business. I'm gonna mind my business as far as that's concerned. But you are more than your outer beauty. People value you, and you are worth more than your looks. So when we come to the realization of that, then maybe we won't have such a problem with doing the internal work as opposed to doing all of this external work to seek external validation. You can appreciate who you are more when you take time out to do work on yourself internally. So recognize your worth at an exceptional level. Recognize your worth at an exceptional level. I want us to be able to think on a grand scale of who you are. A lot of people saw my worth in me. There are some people that have me set up at a very low level in their own mind, and they probably would have me set up there forever, and I don't care. But there were some people that saw me at such a level that I didn't even realize until they acknowledged it and brought it to my attention. And it was the way that people view me that made me look within myself to see my inner beauty. I was like, wow, I would not have recognized that in myself. So sometimes people can see the beauty in you that you don't even see in yourself. And I was like, wow, I never thought about that for myself. I never really thought about looking at myself on such a grand level, and it did certain things it took for, because the way that my lack of self-esteem and my lack of self-love was in my own mind. I just didn't see it within myself until someone who really saw value in me pointed it out to me. So I appreciate the people that see me on exceptional levels. But I want us to be able to look at ourselves and our own worth. Now I am able to recognize my own worth on an exceptional level. And I want us to all be able to recognize our own worth on an exceptional level. Because sometimes we can minimize ourselves and our own worth, and we don't even realize our capabilities and what we are truly worth, the love that you are truly worth, the whatever, the success that you are truly worth, anything that you desire in your heart for yourself that you are truly worth. We don't recognize these things because we are not looking at ourselves. We got ourselves all packaged in this tiny little cute box, when you got to rip yourself out that box and look at yourself for what you really are. So I want us to kind of take our time out to do that today. I want you to recognize your worth on an exceptional level. On an exceptional level. I want you to look at yourself on a grand scale. Who can I really be in life? What can I really do in life? What am I really worth? What am I really capable of? I'm worth more than what I have been settling down for in the past, or whatever that looks like for you in your life. I want you to personalize it. And I want you to be able to look at yourself on an exceptional level, your true worth on an exceptional level. Self-validation will help you overcome self-judgment. A lot of people have major issues with self-judgment. We get in the habit of judging ourselves way too often. And I hear people say these things out of their mouths way too much. We are too hard on ourselves. We are way too hard on ourselves. So when you are able to validate yourself, you won't be so hard on yourself. Number one, you're only human. You're not perfect. You can't be anything else but human. You can't be a super extraterrestrial robot and whatever those things that y'all be trying to make yourself look like in Avatar. That's the no. You are only human. You are who you are and how God created you to be. And it's okay for you to accept yourself and your own creation and who God made you to be. It's okay to accept yourself as that. So even with your flaws and your big nose and your big back from Africa, juicy lip, they talked about my lips and my nose all my life, and I don't care. That does not stop me from recognizing the beauty inside of me, because the big person that don't have a big back from Africa nose and big bumper clock juicy lips, these people got ugly evil souls, and I would rather have a beautiful soul. I think I'm beautiful, and I'm just gonna say it. I think, listen, I believe that I am beautiful inside and out. That is just how I view myself. But these people who talk about everybody else, and this person, they nose ain't perfect and they lips ain't perfect. And my mom had the biggest, most gorgeous, her eyes were like an ocean at night under the moon. If I had to describe anybody's eyes, my mom had the biggest, most gorgeous eyes. Like most of her kids and her grandkids has those eyes. I do too. And my eyes are an absolute dream. They just are, and I love my eyes. That is one of my favorite features about myself. And some people just don't accept their features. You don't accept who you are, and you don't accept how God created you to be. And I want us to get away from being so judgmental of yourself. Get away from being judgmental and just judging every little flaw. No one has the perfect anything. And yes, some people may be more physically beautiful than others. But I'm telling you, with some ugly souls out here. And a lot of times the ugly souls got the prettiest faces. They just do. And I don't want to have an ugly soul. And I would rather work on myself internally and externally. And I don't want to be judgmental about who I am, how God created me, my facial features, this and that, or whatever. And I don't have the perfect whatever. No one does. No one has the perfect anything. So I want us to get out of the habit of judging ourselves. Stop being so judgmental of yourself. We're talking about self-validation, things that we can do to get in the habit of learning how to validate yourself. So you don't need that validation from other people. And I believe that we should get away from being so judgmental of ourselves. That's not going to help you. So don't judge your emotions. Don't judge your emotions either. It's okay to experience your emotions. And I know a lot of people have issues with that. I talk to men a lot, and I just do. I have a lot of male friends, and I talk to men a lot. I talk to men, divorced men that go through different things emotionally for different reasons or whatever, and I look inside of the minds of them and I try to understand their emotions, why they feel, how they feel. Are you hurting? I try to get men to be open and honest about how they feel, why they feel, how they feel. And if you are not okay post divorce or wherever you just got divorced, it's okay for you to hurt. It's okay for you to emotionally not be where you're going to be, because you're not going to always be in that place. Emotions are so temporary, and sometimes we can get hung up on these emotions when all we have to do is respect your emotions and just work through them. You can just work through them. So welcome your thoughts, appreciate your feelings, and don't judge your emotions. It's okay. It's okay if you are hurt or whatever, for whatever reason you are going through whatever that you are going through emotionally. I think the best thing that we can do is work through these emotions and stop trying to hide them, sweep them under the rug, act like they're not there. You're waking up with these emotions. You're going to sleep with these emotions. You're not working through these emotions. You're not dealing with these emotions. You don't have a healthy respect for your emotions. That's why it hurts every time. You don't want to hurt forever. You don't want to. And it's okay to hurt right now because you wanted whatever to work out, for it to work out, or you wanted people to be whoever you expected them to be, and whatever. And it doesn't always happen that way. And just because you are a man, to my beautiful kings out there, that does not mean that it is not okay for you to hurt. It is okay for you to hurt, and it is okay for you to feel your emotions, and it's okay for you to work through your emotions and move on to the next level of your life. There is a healthy way for us to work through our emotions. And I'm pointing that out to my brothers, especially to my kings out there, because I don't want us to be in the habit of getting hung up on these negative emotions and not being able to, in a healthy way, move on to the next level of our lives. So I want you to have a healthy respect for your emotions and welcome your emotions, experience your emotions, feel your emotions, talk about your emotions, work through your emotions, cry it out, scream it out, call your brother, call your pastor, call whoever you need to call, do whatever you got to do. You ain't got to talk to me. Sometimes, a lot of times, I just let men talk. I just let them talk, and they tell me how they feel and what they got to say, and I just don't even offer too much advice. As a woman, I am just a ear, let them say whatever they're feeling. Sometimes I will ask a lot of questions, but I don't offer a whole lot of advice, because a whole lot of advice is not what everyone needs all the time. Sometimes people just need somebody to talk to. So I just let them talk. I just let them talk, and it's okay for you to feel your emotions. And I really want men to know that. Feel your emotions, have a healthy respect for your emotions. And I'm not excluding my queens from that. I want you to be able to feel your emotions as well. But I know that females are more of an emotional creature. So we are able to talk about our emotions, express our emotions to one another, and all of that. Opposed to men, there's a big difference in how women express their emotions opposed to the way that men express their emotions. But I want us all to have a healthy respect for our emotions and feel your emotions. So confront your emotions immediately. If it hurts or if you are not happy, I want you to confront your emotions. Don't sit there with your face all broiled up and letting this fire fuel up inside of you and all this type of stuff. And you don't have to confront everybody all the time. Like, yo, what you doing? You getting on my nerves. You making me mad and all that type of stuff. But you can say to yourself, I don't like the way they moving. I don't want to be around them no more. I don't like the way this person makes me feel when I get around them. I don't like the way they taking me outside of myself. I'm arguing back and forth with this person. I don't like, our conversation and the way that they talk. Whatever the situation is, I'm not saying confront other people all the time. You ain't got to go around confronting everybody all the time. But I want you to be able to confront your own emotions. Confront your emotions immediately and respect the way that you feel at all times. This is how you're going to take care of yourself. You are going to take care of yourself in this way, because if you don't like something or the actions of another person and you respect the way that you feel about it, you're going to avoid yourself from having to deal with that, even without you having to tell. You don't have to tell that person. You don't have to tell that person, but respect the way that you feel at all times. So confront your emotions always. I hope I broke that down in a way that we can all relate to it, but don't hesitate to confront your emotions. So trust yourself and your interpretations. Trust yourself and your interpretations. If it don't look right, if it don't feel right, if it don't seem right, then guess what? It ain't right. It ain't right. So trust yourself. Trust yourself in the way that you view things. If you don't appreciate it, you don't like it, you don't love it, you ain't got to deal with it. Trust yourself in these things. And I am kind of staying on that point a little bit, because oftentimes we deal with things as human beings that we do not necessarily have to deal with. And I want us to get away from dealing with certain people or certain places or certain things, because for whatever reason we feel obligated that we have to deal with certain things, knowing that it is not very pleasing to us. And I want us to prioritize our emotions, ourselves first, opposed to whatever obligation that you feel like you are tied to. You are number one on the obligation list for yourself. That's my point. So do things that don't require validation. We are talking about self-validation today. Do things that does not require validation. What do you mean? What do you mean by things that don't require validation from others? Do things that don't require validation. I hope I said that right. Do things that don't require validation from others, such as cook yourself something good to eat, a healthy meal, or do something for yourself mentally. Take a walk in the park, or I don't know, go work out at the gym, or do something that does not require validation from others, something that you can just build off of with yourself internally, so you won't look for outside validation, because it doesn't require outside validation, but you can validate yourself. You can validate yourself with doing these things that does not require validation from others. Do things that you can self-validate. You can solely self-validate. I know it's going to be hard for us to completely get away from seeking validation from others, because we probably have gotten in the loop of it, of doing it for so long. People get in the habit of seeking validation from others, but I want us to begin to do things that does not require validation from others that solely requires self-validation, even if it's like small things that we can just pick up along the way that can allow you to feel good about you, that don't have nothing to do with nobody else validating you, that is just between you and you. So do things that does not require validation. Do things for yourself that will make you proud of you. And that's what I want us to do. Think differently about yourself. And I want us to get a different perspective on yourself, because sometimes we can be viewing ourselves in a unhealthy way. And we just can. That can be the reality of it. We can be viewing ourselves in a way that is not very beneficial to our lives and our actions on the regular basis. So I want us to be able to think of ourselves differently. That is going to help you to validate yourself better and even more. When you look at the true value and the true worth within yourself, I love the fact that I emphasize true value, knowing your worth so much. I came up with that name of my book. I was writing my first book, and someone encouraged me to make a YouTube channel. But I think I started writing my book first before I became a worldwide influencer. And I was talking to my daughter about the things that God had allowed me to overcome as far as my drug addiction and abuse and molestation and so many things. And I think I was just really talking about, because I think this year I'll celebrate like maybe 8 or 9 years nicotine free, where I haven't smoked a cigarette. And I was talking about, I said, if I know if God did it for me, then you can do it too. And somehow I was like, when people know their true worth. I was just having a conversation with my daughter. This is why sisterhood is so important. I talk to my daughters, I talk to my friends, and I have like a whole queendom where I just talk to the queens that surround me on the regular basis. They feed me and I feed them, and this is how we come. Well, that's how I came up with the name of my book and the name of my YouTube channel, and it just came out. True value. I was like, people need to know the true value of themselves and know their worth. And I was like, then the light bulb just went off in my head, and I was like, I want to kind of stay on that like forever. True value, knowing your worth. I mean, if people would learn the true value within themselves and realize the worth of your own self and the things that God has placed down within you, I believe if people realize the value within themselves, this whole world would be a better place. I believe that wholeheartedly. I believe that with everything inside of me, and that's why I decided to look at myself differently. Outside of the abuse that I had to go through, outside of the way that people treated me, outside of bad relationships, outside of being verbally abused and physically abused and molested and belittled and all of those type of things, I decided to look at myself in a different perspective, and it gave me a different view of myself. And when I actually saw myself from a different angle, it made me feel like I was lied to about who I was my entire life, especially by the people that abused me. I was like, I don't know who they was talking about, but it wasn't me. They was talking about somebody else, and they just try to act like it was me, because that just wasn't me. I came to realize my own true worth. My own true worth, and it gave me a different outlook of how I felt about myself moving forward. I began to move different, act different, think different, speak different. There was a whole new world outside of the lies that were embedded in my brain about me my entire life. So I think that it is so important to think of yourself differently. And I know everybody don't have that testimony, but there could be lies that you have created in your own mind about your own self that you need to step outside of for whatever reason, that you can view yourself differently, because you could just be worth way more than you realize. Your worth is endless. It's limitless. There's no limit to what you are worth. You can't put a price tag on it. You can't stamp it with anything. You can't pay for it. You can't buy it. You can't trade it. And so much of us out here, we're paying too much for what we are really worth. These people out here selling their soul to the devil for whatever, for money, for self, whatever gratification, instant gratification, for drugs, for cars, for clothes, and you are worth more than all of those things. Some people pay too much for their money, for what they are truly worth. You trading your whole self in, and you are worth more than what you are trading yourself in for. This is why I believe that true value, knowing your worth, is a thing for me because of what it did for me. I'm worth way more than what people try to convince me my worth was. I'm like, come on now. You knew you was lying to me when you was lying to me. I don't got time for people. I just don't. I had to dig down inside of myself and realize my own true worth. I did. That's why I think that we should take our time out to think differently about yourself. So whatever that might look like for you, I had to scratch and gnaw and cry and bleed and beg and climb and fall and get back up and all that type of stuff. It took a lot for me to get out that hole of low self-worth. And I'm still crawling and climbing. This is why I work on myself so much. Y'all don't know what I had to go through and how far I came. And I came too far to go backwards. I gotta keep going. I gotta keep moving. I gotta keep striving. This is why I'm delivering these messages. I don't know who this for, but somebody needs to hear this. You are worth more than what you realize. And I want people to look at themselves differently and realize the true worth that you have hidden inside of you. Because whether you want to recognize it or not, it's there. It's there, and some people go to their grave and never discover the true value and the true worth that they have embedded inside of them. But just because you don't recognize it, that does not mean that it is not there. Because I promise you, with everything inside of me, that it is there. So I want you to think of yourself differently. I wrote those 1, 2, 3, 4 words down with a period at the end as a complete sentence. Think differently about yourself. And I really wanted to put strong emphasis on that because I want people to get in the habit of looking at themselves just a little differently. View yourself in a different perspective. You might be further along in life than you give yourself credit for. And sometimes we can limit ourselves, and we got ourselves hidden in this box of worthlessness for whatever reason, when we need to bust that box open and get yourself on up out of there. So insecurities. Now we're going to talk about insecurities, because insecurities can trigger validation from others, or lack of attention as a child can trigger those things. So sometimes we got to go back to your childhood. You got to go back to your childhood, because some of us adults can be acting out. We can be acting out in our adulthood because of our lack of whatever happened to you as a child, can be having a major effect on how you are as an adult. And I'm not trying to say that to be offensive, but I see a lot of adults acting like children. I really do. And I noticed that in grown people, that you are acting out as your childhood self because you have never dealt with your insecurities or the things that you need to deal with, or whatever happened to you as a child, and you are acting out on these things as an adult. You are not a child anymore, sir. You're not a child anymore, ma'am. You're going to have to get past those childhood insecurities or whatever happened to you or damaged you as a child. You are not a child anymore. You just aren't. You aren't. So a lot of people are, listen, sorry, not sorry, I'm just the messenger, but we got all these built up insecurities and we are lashing out as our childhood selves, whether you want to admit it or not, or whether you want to believe it or not. That is not even the adult you that lashes out on the constant basis. That is your inner child that continues to lash out and to seek that attention or that validation or whatever you didn't receive as a child. And boo-boo, you ain't no child no more. You just are not. And on top of that, people see your childish ways. People can see the childish ways. If I can see it, I know I'm not the only one that notices it. People see when adults act out as children. It happens way too often. We got grown people. I'm talking about good and grown. I'm talking about grown. Grown on top of grown. You out here owning stuff and you done had all kinds of experiences and mortgages and all type of things. You done been married, divorced, and all of this type of stuff. And you wonder why things probably don't last or don't work out in the way that you would. Listen, y'all can hate me today. I don't care. And you wonder why things might not go so favorable for you. And it's because you are acting out as a child. So you got to get down. What happened? What happened to you? Come on, sit down. Let's talk about it, because something happened in your childhood. It happens to all of us. And these things that happen they're ingrained in our minds because your child mind is molded by those things. And you have to break out of that child mindset because you are not a child anymore, but you're still acting out as one. So go back to whatever that situation. It might be one single situation. It might be some abuse that you had to endure. It might be a lack of attention. Your parents might have been drug addicts or alcoholics, or you might have lost your mother or lost your father. Your grandmother might have raised you. The streets might have raised you. I don't know who raised you. Whatever happened to you as a child, you got to get over it, because you are not a child anymore. And it is having a major reflection of the things that happened to you as an adult, because you are still acting out as a child. Stop seeking validation as a child and jumping around like Boo Boo the Fool, because you are not 5 years old anymore. It ain't happened for whatever reason. We can't blame life. We can't blame God. We can try to blame your mother, try and blame your father, try to blame the circumstances that you were surrounded with coming up in life and all of that. Regardless of all of that, you need a healthy future. Now let's just talk about what needs to happen from this point moving forward, because you just running in circles at this point. You ain't making no progress. Every time you take 2 steps forward, you take 12 steps backwards. So you're not making any progress. Not emotionally, not mentally, not physically, not in your relationships, not financially. You keep taking these hits. You don't have no healthy relationship with God. Listen, I'm just the messenger. Y'all, we got to get out of that mindset where we are acting out as children, and we are blaming everything and everybody because of whatever happened to us as a child. And in our reality, no matter how much you act out, baby, You are not a child, and you are not going to get that validation that you are seeking that you did not get as a child. The person that you probably seeking that validation from is probably dead and gone, or whatever. I don't know what you think is going to happen for you to get this validation that you need, but it's time for you to get over it. And I don't know who need to hear that message today. Don't get mad at me. I see a lot of grown kids out here. I do. I see a lot of grown kids, these adults out here, and you're not fully adult because you're acting out as a child. And I see it way too often, and it's hindering your life. It really is. Your life is a mess, and it's a mess all over. I don't care how much you try to pretty it up, but you keep going through situation after situation because you won't acknowledge the fact that you have to get over some of these validations that you are seeking for whatever did not happen to you as a child or for you as a child. Get over it. It's over. It's water under the bridge. You can't cry over spilt milk. You need a healthy future. And that's period, point blank. So we had to stop looking for these outside validations and the things that trigger these outside validations for whatever that happened to you or didn't happen to you or whatever your situation was as a child. A lot of people are holding on to so many things that happened to them as children. I am so grateful for my healing. I just am. I am so grateful. When I tell you, when I get wrapped up in gratefulness, I could still be acting out for the things that happened to me as a child. I could still be acting out over those things. I don't want to. I don't want to carry those things along with me. I know that the things that happened to me as a child was none of my doing. And even as a child, there was nothing that I could do about the situations that I was in, which had a major effect on me as I grew up. I acted out. I lashed out. I did everything that I was grown enough to do. I harmed myself. I self-destructed. I got all of that out of my system. I did. And none of those things were beneficial to my life because if I would have stayed on that path of self-destruction, I would not be able to sit in front of people today and tell you about the goodness of God and the healing that has taken place over my life over these years. I want to continue to experience healing forever. I don't want to dwell on the things that happened to me as a child or seek validation from people that are never going to validate me. It ain't going to happen, and I'm not seeking for it to happen. The only one I want to seek validation from is God. I want to seek validation from God. And that's what I work towards. I work towards seeking validation from God. So we got to do away with all that This therapy today. This is therapy today. Listen, somebody needed to hear that. Somebody really needed that for your soul because it's too much going on. It's just way too much going on and people are lashing out in unhealthy ways. And it is having a ripple effect on you and on everything that's going on around you. Get rid of the validation you seek that for whatever reason, for whatever happened to you as a child. It ain't going to happen. It didn't happen then. You didn't get the validation then. You're not going to get the validation in the future. And you lashing out to try to seek the validation is only going to harm you. You're welcome. Listen, I'm trying to help y'all. I'm trying to help somebody today. Okay, so start building your self-esteem from within. That is always a healthy, good technique, something to do. Work on yourself. Begin to speak healthy things over yourself. Positive affirmations. Speak goodness over yourself when you look yourself in the mirror and all of those type of things. Start building your self-esteem from within. Strengthen your foundation of self-acceptance. Strengthen your foundation of self-acceptance. Love yourself, flaws and all. Love yourself. Accept yourself for who you are. You're not perfect. You don't have a perfect voice or perfect hair or perfect eyebrows or perfect skin or whatever. Or no one has a perfect anything. So build the foundation of self-acceptance. Accept yourself for not only who you are, but for how you are. That is going to help you on a road to self-validation. So we be talking about learning how to build up our self-validation. Listen to yourself and be honest about how you feel and where you are. Being very honest with yourself, being true to yourself, be very transparent with yourself. Be honest with yourself about where you are, how you feel, and all of those type of things. So I'm just giving y'all a few tips and tools. I don't know if you're going to use them, but I'm going to give them to you anyway. Listen to yourself about how you feel and where you are, and practice self-compassion. Be compassionate with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. It's okay. It's okay to hurt and all of those type of things. Be very compassionate with yourself and where you are and how you feel. If you made a mistake, don't continue to kick yourself down, dwell on your mistakes and all of that type of stuff. If you need some love, give yourself some love. If you lost a loved one, you need some time to heal. You need time to heal physically, mentally, emotionally. Take time out to give yourself what you need. If you need peace of mind, if you need prayer, if you need to breathe, if you need to talk to someone, if you need to get some things off your chest, cater to yourself and what you need in these moments. Practice self-compassion. Be very kind to you today. Not only today, but always. Get in the habit of being very, very kind and compassionate to yourself. Don't be calling yourself stupid every time you make a mistake and dummy and all that kind of stuff. You ain't stupid and you ain't no dummy. You just made a mistake. So we're going to practice self-compassion today. Everything you need is inside of you. And I don't know if we realize it, but it's true. We seek these things from the outside. This outside validation is not going to get us anywhere. That self-validation is going to get you everywhere. You build yourself from the inside. It is going to have a reflection on your outside. You're going to see these positive impacts on every area of your life when you are able to build yourself up from the inside out and realize that everything that you need is inside of you. It takes time and it takes patience to break free from external validation. So to get whatever time that you need to break free from the external validation, I'm not saying it's going to happen today. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but I ain't going to say that it ain't going to happen at all, because we have to be very purposeful about these things moving forward. Be very purposeful about these things. And I want us to take time out to do these things for ourselves. So be patient about allowing yourself to get rid of external validation. Be patient with yourself and take time to celebrate yourself and your own self-worth. Continue on despite your flaws and mistakes and give yourself the validation that you deserve. So I ended the message right there, but I do have an affirmation and a quote that I want to leave with you guys. Listen. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at yourself. Don't get mad at nobody. I was going to say be mad at the world or wherever. People, I'm telling you, these attacks are going to come against us in forms that we are not even going to realize that they are going to come against us in. And we have to stand guard against these things. And when you build yourself up internally, it gives you everything that you need. When you are able to validate yourself, you lay down that foundation, you give yourself something to build off of, you give yourself something to fall back on. You don't always have to seek it from other people. You can depend on yourself. You can be there for yourself. You can uplift yourself. You can speak positively over yourself. You can give everything that you can give yourself everything that you need in these moments and on the moment to moment basis. When you don't get validation from others, you can get in the habit of getting validation from yourself, because you are validating yourself. You don't need validation from others. If you get validation from others, thank you. I appreciate you expressing yourself to me or recognizing whatever you recognize in me, but not, you don't even have to say it. I was going to say, not to sound conceited, but I am validating myself. I want you to already be fully in the habit of validating yourself, building up that brick wall that cannot be easily torn down. Build up a firm foundation of validation for yourself. That way you don't need it from anyone else. You can be more secure in yourself. You can be secure in what you bring to the table in a relationship, in a business, and at a job, at home, with your family, with what type of parent that you are, whatever that you are, whatever role God has you playing in this world. You are secure and comfortable with who you are and what you do and who God made you to be. You are proud of yourself. You can walk with your head held high, with your chest back, your shoulders back. You can just be proud of yourself. Walk into a room as authentic as you can possibly be, no matter what anyone else has to say about you. I can see that you feel good about the human that God created you to be. It is written all over you. Self-validation. Self-validation. I'm telling you, we're going to talk about it and we're going to do it too. So the quote that I am going to leave you guys with is from the late great Mrs. Queen Maya Angelou. And for those of you who don't know who Maya Angelou is, she was a famous poet. She fought for freedom. She is famous for poems like "And Still I Rise," that was written, I believe, back in 1975. She was also a prominent civil rights leader, left a stamp here on this earth while she lived. I know she was an actor, and she just wore many hats, had a very powerful testimony, talked about when she did not have a voice. I believe I heard Maya Angelou tell her testimony before she was just an amazing poet. I'm telling you, I never heard this type of poetry before, but I believe that she said she was molested at a point in time in her life, and she stopped talking after her molestation, and her parents didn't understand why she stopped talking. I think she said she believed that if she was to tell what happened to her, the person was going to be murdered or whatever. However the series of events played out, she stopped talking, period. Like, she did not utter words for years after her molestation. And when she began to talk years and years later, everything came out as beautiful poetry. And I believe she said that during her time of not talking, all she did was read. So she just read. She didn't talk. She just read. And it was like maybe between 5 or 10 years of her life that Maya Angelou stopped talking and just read. And her parents thought that something was psychologically wrong with her, all of these things. But when words began to come outside of her, it was this beautiful poetry. So she became very famous for that. She left a stamp here on this world. And this is a quote from Maya Angelou. And she said, "Success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking what you do. And this is from the late great, these are the words of the late great Mrs. Maya Angelou. She said, success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. This all points back to you. Self-validation. And this was a very successful woman in the time of racism and the time of segregation, and she still overcame so many obstacles and became very famous and historical out of everything that she had to go through. So she had the right to speak these words. She became a great success while she was here on this earth. She said success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. We got to validate ourselves today, y'all. Those were not my words. Those were the words of Miss Maya Angelou. So I'm going to leave you with this affirmation, and I'm going to get out y'all face on this beautiful Saturday. And I want you to speak these words over yourself. Remember them all day. Say it to yourself all day long. I am unaffected by the judgment of others. Say that to yourself. Convince yourself the truth in that and believe that within yourself. Get away from validation from others and get in the habit of validating yourself. I am unaffected by the judgment of others. And if you are not there right now, which I know a lot of us probably are not even in the place to be able to affirm those words over yourself, I want you to affirm those words over yourself until it becomes your reality. I am unaffected by the judgment of others. I want you to continue to speak those things over yourself over and over and over and over until you are unaffected by the judgment of others, because it does not matter what people think about you. What is most important is what you think about you, how you feel about yourself. Ms. Maya Angelou said it herself, liking yourself, loving yourself. If you want to be successful, you want to walk up that valley, walk up that road. You want to explore that a little bit. I want to like and love who I am without the judgment of others. So I want you to do that for yourself today. That is it, you guys. I think I have said enough. What y'all think? Listen, big shout out to y'all. I see y'all. Y'all jumped on my live this afternoon. I appreciate you. God bless you. I love you. Thank you so much for your presence right here, right now. I hope you all got something out of this message on self-validation. I am going to take heed to this message myself wherever I can apply this message in my life and for myself. I want to be able to stand on a foundation of self-validation before I go out here and try to seek the validation of other people. That is not going to mean me no, never mind, no way. I want to help myself. I want to get further in life. I want to do what is going to be effective. I want to do what is actually going to work. I want to do what is going to make a difference. And seeking validation from the outside world and from other people is not going to prove effectiveness in your life. It's not going to get you further. It's not going to take you places. It's not going to earn you stripes. I don't know what we seek when we look for these outside validations, but it's not going to happen in the way that you think it is going to happen. What is going to be more effective is the validation that you get from yourself, and that you seek from yourself, and that you give yourself. Pat yourself on the back. Tell yourself that you did a good job. Tell yourself that you are beautiful. Tell yourself that you love yourself. Give yourself credit for how far you have came, the accomplishments you have made, and the things that you have done. I'm telling you, you got stuff right now that you can dig up right now that you can validate yourself for. So while we are so busy seeking validation from others, we should get in the habit. I'm telling y'all what y'all should do as grown people. I know that we don't like people telling us what is good for us or what we should do. It is up to you whether you'll take my advice on it or not. But like I said, I'm going to take my own advice. We should be seeking validation from ourselves opposed from us seeking validation from other people and from the outside world. So I'm going to do that for myself. I hope y'all do that for yourself. Go out here and do what pleases your spirit today on this amazingly beautiful Saturday. Appreciate life, appreciate love, appreciate the things that are going on around you. Be grateful for the things that you have. If you got a roof over your head, shoes on your feet, air in your lungs, wherever. I want you guys to be happy today. I want you to not only have a smile on your face externally, but I want you to smile from your heart. I want you to smile from within. I want you to smile and be able to feel the joy coming from outside, from inside of yourself. So I want you to search for that happiness and for that peace and for that joy to radiate from inside of you. I want you to feel it. And if you can't feel joy, peace, happiness, love right now, I want you to find it. If you can't feel it, find it. Search for it. Search for it. Don't search for these negative things that are not going to allow you peace and love and hope and joy in your spirit. Search for the fruits of the spirit, the things that are going to make you happy and the things that are going to carry you a very long way in life. So that is it. God bless you. I love you. Y'all continue to look for more motivational videos. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe my YouTube channel. That is True Value, Knowing Your Worth on YouTube. Also, my books are available and on sale on Amazon. You can check them out anytime. Search my author's page, which is under my name on Amazon. That is Sakarah Bey, Sakarah, last name Bey, Bey. You can search up my books. You can read them online. You can read a little bit about what the books are about on Amazon. You can, whatever book that stands out most to you right now. I have 4 published books on Amazon that are available and on sale. That is True Value, Knowing Your Worth, Walking Treasure, Discover Your Hidden Treasures, Feed Your Soul, Your Personal Guide to Health and Wellness, and Religiously, and that is taking a closer look at spirituality and religion. God bless you. I love you once again. Thank you for your presence here. I hope this motivational message helped you some way, somehow. In the meantime, you guys continue to stay blessed.